All right, so we've cruised on to Civitavecchia, and of course that is the gateway to Rome. And for Rome, we decided to buy an NCL excursion called Rome on Your Own. And we wanted to do that because we've been to Rome a few times and we've done a lot of the most major attractions. But one thing that we didn't do the last time we were there, and Dwayne's never done it, is gone inside the St. Peter's Basilica. So we decided to in advance book our cut the line, tour in English of the St. Peter's Basilica along with the papal tombs underneath. We scheduled it for 12:30. We got to Rome around 10-ish or just before 10. And the meeting point was right here in this big plaza. You can see Dwayne there in the plaza. It's called the Plaza del Popolo, and it's a big plaza, but it looks like one where all of the locals kind of hang out. It's actually quite interesting. They were playing ball and they were dressed up and they had trinkets and things that they were selling. There were, of course, those living statue type people that you could take pictures with. So from there we ended up grabbing a cab, taking us to the colonnade, and the colonnade is that main street where the columns that form the outside arms of, as you see, St. Peter's Basilica. So we took advantage that we were there around 10:30 or so, and it was quite crowded in Rome. We had no idea when we booked this trip that unfortunately the Pope would pass away probably a week before we got there, and then his funeral was on the Monday before this day when we were there. So it's basically 4 days in. Rome was bustling, filled with people. So many people were there. We were very happy to have our tickets for the 12:30 and take our pictures outside, the obligatory pictures of St. Peter's and the selfies with that in the background. And we decided to venture off and go find a place for lunch, and that's exactly what we did. So we found this cute place for lunch. It was called the Cafe Moretto. Here's a kind of shot of it from where I'm seated. Pretty, nicely done, air conditioning, big menu. They, of course, had all kinds of things. They had all kinds of Italian specialties, all kinds of pastas and pizzas and salads. And they had these things called combo meals, where they had 5 or 6 different combinations. I don't know exactly which combination this was, but as you can see, it had 3 huge meatballs, a big bowl of roasted potatoes, a big pile of spaghetti with pasta sauce, pomodoro sauce, I guess, and of course the grated cheese, and it came with a fresh side salad. I think all of that food that Dwayne has was about 28 euros. So that's not too bad for a lunch special in the capital city of Rome, about, a block or 2 away from St. Peter's. So we're right near there. In fact, this little restaurant, as you leave the colonnade from where we were before, earlier in the video, if you leave that colonnade and follow the street that goes up toward the Vatican museums, this will be on your right. And because it was fairly early, our entrance ticket for the tour was, I think, at 12:30. And because this was around 11:30, it wasn't crowded. We didn't have to wait. So it was very, very convenient. And, the food was pretty good. And while Dwayne had his big combo meal, I think I got something a little later. You'll see it here. I got some salad. It was a little disappointing because the avocado was hard as a rock, but everything else tasted pretty good. So we walked back down to find the meeting point, and you can see the meeting point is right there, right where that little small crowd is on the left, and people are starting to sit and wait for their tour. But unfortunately, it wasn't meant to be. As I said, this was a busy week, the week of the Pope's funeral, and everybody just getting ready for the conclave, and so many people having come into Rome for the funeral. And, so we're waiting around for a bit, took a few shots of some of the things in the windows. But unfortunately, just as we were about to go and head off into our cruise, they closed the basilica, and basically they closed our excursion. Our tour of the St. Peter's Basilica was canceled at the very last minute as we were about to step inside. So we were disappointed. They gave us our money back, and that's basically what happened. And next time. So then we went all the way back to the meeting point at that same plaza where we got dropped off, and the bus was about an hour and a half back to Civitavecchia where the breakaway was in port. And we were a little hungry, but not overly hungry, because we didn't quite know how the day was going to go. We didn't make any specialty dining reservations, so we went to Savor. And of course, Taste, Savor, as well as Manhattan Room all have the menu. I had the spicy meatballs. Dwayne had the Caesar salad. Both of those were pretty good appetizers, I gotta say. Sometimes the main dining room is a hit or miss for us, but those two appetizers were good. Here's a closer look at his salad. And I ordered from the Cagney's menu, and I got the twin lobsters. And you know what? They were perfect. You don't have to be at Cagney's to order that Cagney's dish. You can order it in the main dining room, which was excellent. And Dwayne also got some type of roasted fish that he said was actually pretty good. So I'd say for a main dining room complimentary meal on this day, we chose wisely from that menu, and we ended up having a pretty good dinner. So it was nice. And there's just another shot of what the, I believe it's a $25 upcharge for the twin lobsters. And it was more than enough food, and it came with a drawn butter and some, broccoli or whatever. But I got the fruit plate for dessert. And after that, we decided to go and see our luck in the casino. And guess what? We had some luck in the casino. I ended up with one hand pay for, I believe it was this round here, where it was about $1,300, where I got the minor on a Dragon Link. And I think we won at a few other games, but we ended up that night up a couple $1,000, so we were pretty happy with it. Here's just a couple of shots of the bonus. Usually I do a casino tour, but this particular itinerary was so port heavy that there wasn't a lot of casino time. And in fact, because we were in Italy, at least one of the nights, just going from like here, Civitavecchia, to, I believe, the other port of Livorno, the casino had to close. It stayed closed one entire night, and I think we only got to play in the casino the night that I won, maybe 45 minutes. So it was very limited casino time for us on this one.